Guys, take yourself off mute. You're on mute.
It's because we don't want to talk to you.
4 minutes.
Why is it, why do I have feedback?
And I don't see anybody anymore.
Rock, you can't see us?
Yeah, I have it now, but differently, but that's fine. Carry on that way.
Okay.
Well, there are items added to the agenda?
No. Why?
Because I only have.
This is committee of adjustment.
Oh, okay, that's not mine.
Okay.
Perfect.
We're just trying to.
There you
Trying
go,
to-
you haven't done your homework.
Trying to
I said,
figure-
did I miss something in the back?
I think we're all here that's
Oh, I
supposed to
was
be
at a
here.
panic attack. No.
And then you're not here first one.
Nobody else. Paul, is
Yes.
your client coming? Okay. Just wanted to make sure if we started a minute or so early.
Yeah, that's what that letter's from.
No.
Guess we can go.
Just got it this afternoon.
Okay, I'll call this meeting to order. Is there any declarations of pecuniary interest? No? Okay. We'll go to adoption of the,
Agenda.
adoption of the agenda.
I need a mover and a seconder, please. Okay.
Dan and Kathleen.
It is moved by Dan Gagne and seconded by Kathleen Rochon. Be it resolved that the agenda for the West Nipissing Planning Advisory Committee meeting held on April the 9th, 2024 be adopted as presented.
Everybody had a chance to,
And actually, that should, before we go further, through you, Mr. Chair, we did have a request at the last minute from the solicitor for the item number, where's my agenda? Solicitor for item number 5.1. They have requested that the matter be postponed to the next meeting. I did speak with them on the phone. They are agreeable to moving the matter to the
No, you guys are frozen.
It's not just me, Don.
No, it's not just you.
It's them.
Yeah, it's them.
something. There's something wrong with the Polycom.
okay.
I'm going to speak to Kevin tomorrow. Hi.
Everybody can hear us? Yeah?
Yeah, you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, no, there's something wrong with the little the Zoom machine in the room. I've got to speak to IT tomorrow. It keeps cutting out. So if you lose us, just be patient. We'll come back.
You're zoomed in on you two, you and Roger.
Oh, it's the best looking people in the room? No,
No, go back to the one you had. You had the whole thing.
I know. I just got to take the camera back.
There you go. No.
There you go.
question is, am I live? Yes, I'm still live. Good.
Okay, so we'll move on to the adoption of the minutes.
I don't have
I
a,
need a, I'm sorry?
Yeah.
Need a, Anne and Danielle.
it is moved by Anne Tessier and seconded by Danielle Gagné. Be it resolved that the minutes of the Planning Advisory Committee meeting held on October the 10th, 2023 be adopted as presented.
And I'm sure everybody had the chance for the last 5 months. Go ahead.
No, that was it. I was.
Oh, you were
for the
ready
all
to
in
go?
favor.
If there's no questions regarding the minutes, I'll bring it to a vote. Everybody in favor? Okay, that's carried. Okay, we're moving on to number 5.1. No, Goulard is passed, I'm sorry. We're going to 5.2, Larcher, Sean, 900 Canal Road. I need a mover and a seconder. Anne and Ruck.
It is moved by Anne Tessier and seconded by Roch Saint-Louis. Whereas at a public meeting held on September the 12th, 2023 for the purpose of amending zoning bylaw of 2014-45, and whereas the matter was deferred, and whereas written concerns have been received to the proposed amendment, be it resolved that the Planning Advisory Committee for the West Nipissing Municipality recommends that Council for the West Nipissing Municipality adopts the proposed zoning bylaw to rezone a portion of the property, actually to rezone the property at 900 Canal Road, and more particularly shown on the attached sketch, and that Schedule H2 of Bylaw 2014-45 be amended by changing the zoning designation of the property shown on Schedule A, which is more particularly described as part of Lot A, Concession B, Parts 1 and 2, Plan 36R 10453 in the Township of Springer, from Shoreline Residential SR Zone to C3 Tourist Commercial. Through you, Mr. Chair, if you go back to, if we remember back in September, we had a conversation about, and I believe the application first came before us in the summertime, in August, and then was deferred at that meeting, and back to council in early September as requesting an amendment to the application. It came back to planning in the month of September with an amended request to change the property zoning from shoreline residential to tourist commercial. However, at that time, the committee felt that they didn't have enough information to make a decision at that time. Since then, the consultant has submitted the information that's been included in your agenda. You'll see that there is a site plan showing all of the proposed structures and parking layout. They've also provided a set design by the consultant who has been retained to provide the septic system design. So what is being recommended in my report is that we'll obviously discuss this, but my recommendation is that before making a decision that we would recirculate this, we can let Mr. Goodridge make his presentation, but my recommendation is, given the substantial changes to the proposal from the original iteration that was circulated, that perhaps it might be prudent to recirculate to the abutting landowners now that we have more information about what's being proposed. I'll leave that to the nice people to discuss.
Okay. Do you want to
Certainly address that.
address that?
Obviously, it's our intention to bring this forward to a vote. It's been going on a long time. We believe you have the information required. We've really only heard from one neighbor, so none of the other neighbors have been upset with anything that we've proposed here. We have one neighbor who doesn't live here. He inherited the property from his father. No idea what his intentions for the property are, but he doesn't live here. So if he is the only one holding this up from going any further, we're simply asking, if that's the only reason. He's already written a fairly comprehensive letter. In fact, he doesn't like us going to C3, and now he's fully in support of the original application that he was very much against initially. So I don't see what sending him back the information is today with the intention. It's a pretty non-intrusive use on the properties. There's 3 trailer sites, there's 2 cabins. We have the septic capacity to handle it. He's proposing some additional docking to be built. We will need M&RF approval for the docks before they can be built. We've shown how we can identify the setback areas and the buffers to make sure that the neighboring properties are protected. And we've provided more than adequate parking. And as you can see from the site plan we provided, there's still a lot of additional land. If more parking is required for the docking that winds up being built, we have the ability to include that. So as far as I know, the rest of the agencies that would typically comment have been circulated. Nothing has been received. No, none of the others have been circulated at any time.
No, the circulation was done last fall.
Right.
Yes.
So
Everyone was circulated.
and still, MTO responded saying it was outside of their jurisdiction area, but I don't see anything that came back from MECT, M&RF, anything like that. We know we need the M&RF's approval. We are under the 10,000 liters a day for the septic system, as confirmed by Crystal Barnes, the consultant that was hired. She was formerly with the North Bay Mattawa Conservation Authority. So she knows her stuff. She's been doing this a long time. We do need their approval, of course, but she's in a unique position. She knows what they require. She knows what it takes, what the system requirements are. So we don't anticipate any issues whatsoever with the Conservation Authority when it comes time to build a new septic system. So really, if we're only doing this to satisfy one neighbor who's had ample opportunities for the last 6 months or more to make his views known, and quite honestly, no matter what we propose, it's not going to be satisfactory. So I would suggest that we move forward with it this evening and then bring it back to council for a final vote. And if anyone has any questions, once you've reviewed the site plan, I'd be more than happy to try to answer them for you.
Thank you, Mr. Paul. Do we have any questions from our panel? No?
Well,
You might?
all right, can you remind me again what the total lot area is? I just, the writing's really small and I'm not sure.
Just off the top of my head, no.
It was in
Let
the
me just see
original,
what
it was in the original.
So I'll tell you what, I'm going to grab my bigger copy of the plan, just because
Yeah.
even with glasses, I'm getting old, sorry. You need better glasses or bigger plans. Luckily, we have bigger plans with us. So the lot size, it's 82 meters in depth by 77 meters wide. 80 by 70 would be 5,600 square meters. So you're looking at about 1.25 acres, in between 1.25 acres and 1.5 acres, roughly.
Thank you.
I, for one, am happy that you and the owner did the due diligence and came back with a well-detailed plan of what the thoughts were, or the final word was on that we asked for last fall. So,
And if I could as well, if this is placed under site plan control with what the development proposal is, one of the neighbors' concerns were, well, this is what they're showing us, but what are they really going to build? Well, if it needs the approval of the building inspector to be able to build it, and if it's outside what we've shown, then there's an opportunity for the questions to be asked and the public to be protected.
correct. Thank you. Do we have okay, Dan?
Just a comment. I worked when I was young at Salt Marina, so I'm aware of this area. And that this used to be a parcel of land that used to be owned by Nepressing Lodge at the time. And there was a trailer park and multiple cabins on that site, so I don't see it any different now. And on top of that, Monsieur Monsieur Larcher is actually putting in a new septic in there to accommodate and then he's actually upgrading this current system on there and following every rule that our planner has went through. So I got nothing, but I'll be giving my approval to move forward with this project. Thank you, Mr.
I
Chair.
agree, thank you. Do we have any more questions? No? I'll, none from the Madam Planner?
No.
No? I'll bring it to a vote. Is anybody in favor? Carried.
Okay, this will go to next week's council meeting.
Perfect.
Okay.
See you next week.
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank you,
so,
Paul.
so now we can talk, and I'm gonna just maybe provide council or this committee with a bit of an update on what's going on. I met with, we actually, at the last council meeting, you'll recall, those who are not on council, but for you, Roger, we awarded the a request for proposal for the preparation of for the amendment to the official plan and the zoning bylaw update for the West Nipissing municipality. The company that got it was a company by the name of Planscape. We have worked with them before and have a very good working relationship. I expect it's going to be a very pleasant experience. I met with them this morning and they're just starting the process. What's going to be happening is they're going to be preparing, there's going to be a dedicated web page on our website, which is going to keep track of where we are in the process. All of the draft documents, the consultations, the stakeholder groups that are going to be met with. There's going to be a schedule on there, meeting dates, place for public input on at all the various steps. They're going to set up a whole webpage dedicated to this particular process. It's expected to take the better part of 2 years to go through everything. A lot has changed. West Nipissing's last zoning bylaw, our last official plan, was prepared and adopted by the council in 2007. It was finally approved by Municipal Affairs in 2011. It was appealed by council and finally was everything rolled out at the end of 2011. So it was quite an event. And there's a lot that's changed in the municipality. There's a lot that's changed at the provincial level. There's an awful lot of good things that have happened here that are going to be part of the process. So what I'd like from you guys is to put your thinking caps on and to come back to me, either call me, send me an email. If there's anything that you've noticed in these meetings, anything that you think, any areas of the municipality, any problem, things that seem to be coming up again and again that, maybe we want to look at when we're doing this, and give it a better look to see if we can, do it right so it doesn't keep coming up at these meetings so that we can, I did identify that I wanted a boundary refinement on our provincially significant wetlands.
That was my first question regarding the boundaries. Are they sticking to the same boundaries that we are now, or is there any chance that they might expand the boundaries?
In 2015, the Ministry of Natural Resources approached us and said that they were going to do a boundary refinement because we do have some stuff in our wetlands that's not really wetland, but it is wetland, and it creates difficulty when people come in for building permits and for development proposals because we're kind of like, it doesn't look like wetland, but it is and it isn't. So we had asked, and the ministry had said they were going to do this refinement, but they never did. We've now been told that that's been transferred to the Ministry of Environment and Climate Change. They don't do that anymore. So we're hoping that when we do our consultation, because part of the consultation is with all the provincial ministries, Ministry of Natural Resources, MECP, the various ministries are all will comment, and that's going to be one thing that I really want to push for. I want to push for a refinement of our ag lands as well, because we do get, I get so many requests from people who want to do stuff, and because of the policies, I have to say no, but we do have, I think, some areas where we could maybe look at that might be, there might be some wiggle room. The hazard lands along the Sturgeon River, all the way from Minnehaha Bay, all the way to the end of River Valley. Right now, hazard, both sides of the river, all the way up, even though we know that there are some areas that are like high, and there's no reason why these sections are designated like that. So, you know, there's room for improvement to make, you know, our, the work we do here a little bit easier so that, you know, we get called out sometimes to properties, and I remember going to one in River Valley, like literally I was standing on the top of a cliff. The river was, I don't know, 60 feet down. And the guy says, does this look like it's gonna flood to you? And I was like, well, sir, you know, I have to work with what, you know, the map says it's floodplain. Clearly it wasn't. But those are just a few things that popped into my head this morning that I really wanna make sure that we get, you know, accurate mapping of our lands so that we know what we're dealing with, you know, protect what we need to, don't, you know, work to, you know, be able to develop what we can, and not have sort of the
It froze again.
She said to be patient. I don't have it.
over the last few years. The province has made a lot of changes. Sorry about that, Don. I'm having difficulty with my thing. The province has made a lot of changes. You know, the province has increased density on properties. They've reduced, you know, circulation periods. They've done a whole lot of stuff. And I've been told that we're not at the end of the province's changes yet. There's still more to come. I'm excited. But hopefully by the time we get this done, the province will be done too, and we're gonna have a document that's current with what, you know, the provincial directives are. Who's making faces at me?
Well, but it keeps like going like.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
I have another question to.
Every time it goes
Madam
out, the camera
You've been to
control
the
has to be
provincial,
changed.
With the municipalities and
Yes.
all that. Is there any chance that if Ford, the provincial government right now is legislating all those changes, is there any chance that the next government can revoke it?
Yes, absolutely.
So
As soon
even though
as,
you
as,
can
yeah, as soon
implement
as
it,
as soon as a new provincial government comes in, it's entirely in their purview to change the provincial policy statement in any way that they see fit to meet the priorities of that particular government.
okay,
And then those provincial policy statement changes have a downward impact on municipalities because, you know, they can, however the language changes, however small a way, we need to be sure that when we're making decisions, you know, in a planning matter, that we are consistent and that our policies are consistent
And-
with
and-
provincial policy.
And ironically, all the changes to the act that have been made by the current provincial government, the policy statements haven't been changed. So typically planning is a top-down, you know, starts with the policy statements and works its way down to the act and then down to local level. Well, the act has changed, but the policy statements haven't. So they're running a little bit, it's a
Yeah,
little,
the current version is 2020 on
2020,
the provincial
but
policy
many
statement, but a
changes
lot
have
of
been-
changes have been made since.
darn,
push.
that we're expecting. I was speaking when I spoke with the planners today there. We are expecting the newest iteration of the PPS soon. But like I said, I think there's still some wrangling going on down in Queen's Park about some of the
We'll probably get that right around the time we get the new MPAC. model.
assessment. Oh, it'll be fun.
They're working together.
I'm gonna work up my retirement date.
Yeah.
No, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna be a really fun process, and this committee is gonna be very much involved. This committee is gonna be the point people for a lot of the consultations, a lot of the, you know, the workshops and the open houses. This committee is going to be part of those things, so I'm hoping you're all as excited as I am. I'm excited. I've had a difficult document for many years, and I'm really excited. And the firm we're working with they are awesome. I've worked with them since 2014, and just some of the nicest people. And they're centered out of Bracebridge. They know Northern Ontario. They've done a lot of work for smaller municipalities in northeastern Ontario, so they're in touch with what we are, and our needs, and they understand our culture up here. They're good people, and that's all I have to really report on that. I had something else to say, but I forgot. Go ahead.
I have a question. I know it's kind of not specific yet, but I think, but on 1.2, it just says on the third bullet, discussing a key stakeholder list and management of that list. I imagine any current subdivision developers, they're going to be contacted to get their feedback.
Developers will be a stakeholder group.
Okay.
Farmers will be a stakeholder group. Business people in the downtown core will be a stakeholder group. Camp owners will be a stakeholder group. I've got a list that actually we dealt with when we did the zoning bylaw, and I'll refine that list to send it to them of the different groups, because people who are in forestry, people who are in business fishery, people who are in, sport fishing, there's all kinds of people. So they'll organize themselves, and they'll reach out to the different groups, and we'll hold meetings that will be specifically geared to those. And, and I'm sure some of the consultation will be online. As I'd indicated, there's definitely going to be a portal where people will be able to, register comments or thoughts or ideas or whatever.
And then at that point, the people from Landscape will be there.
Yes.
To answer any questions.
Absolutely,
Okay.
yeah, at each level,
Perfect.
where at each draft level, and you'll see in the timeline, there's a bunch of different deliverables. There will be, specific meetings held at different points through the process where, they're gonna wanna come and talk to you guys, they're gonna wanna talk to the groups. And then they're gonna set me up, within the next month with a full, I think they call it there's a name for it, I've forgotten now, like a chart.
The Gantt charts.
Something like that, and they're gonna put it on our website. It's gonna show exactly where we are in the process.
Perfect, yeah.
So people know what's going on, and everybody
The
can
reason, I
respond.
just want to make sure that we don't forget anybody, like contractors that
No.
build new houses and that's their livelihood. Just want to make, what can we do to make your life easier? At the same time, what can we do to make your life easier at the same time? So,
Get rid of the contractors. No, that was a joke.
yeah,
I'm teasing. They are our lifeblood. I'm teasing.
thank you.
No, I would die without them. They make my life interesting. No, they're kind of business people, contractors. They're a big part, and there'll be probably a meeting held just for them, because they are such a big part, to provide input and see what they want to, we'll be looking at things like our urban service boundary. Do we want to change those boundaries? Do we want to expand? Is it good where it is? Because urban services is where our document says, okay, this is the limit. We're not taking water and sewer any farther than this. But if we see that, we've entertained a lot of requests over the years, to take, down Canal Road, down Promenade up to Levert, here and there, this is the opportunity. If we're going to change those boundaries, this is the time, but this document, then sets the next 10 years of what we're going to do in West Nipissing. So, we have a policy document that says this is what we're doing. So when we get, requests, we can say, hey, this is where our policy's at right now. And this is where we're at. So, maybe the next go around, but
Yep.
This is the time to get to the nuts and bolts of all these, things. So like I said, put your thinking caps on. Please feel free to send me an email of anything that comes into your mind. And I'm just kind of sending a mishmash of information to them. I'm going to put it in groups of stakeholders, things that we want to focus on, problem areas in the existing document. What can we do better? what can we fix? What's working really well and we think is great and we want to hang on to. So, if you think about it,
The information you're sending to the planners, are you gonna CC us as well so we can see what?
yeah, I have a mailing list for you guys, so I'll put together, I'll put you guys, a CC on the, because I did tell them today that you guys are gonna be a big part of this process. And they were really happy because they said that sometimes planning advisory committees get overlooked in these processes and council sort of becomes the point. But I said, no, I think we've had good luck with smaller committee. And this is your mandate. This is what this committee exists for, is to provide recommendation to council on planning matters. So this is a big one. Obviously, council makes the final decisions, obviously. But, you know, if we work out the bugs at this level, I think it's, council will be appreciative of the heavy lifting being done at a.
Perfect. Rak, did you have any question? No? Okay.
That's my update on the official plan, and I'll probably have updates at every meeting as we go along, over the next, you guys will be here probably till the bitter end, because it'll be,
Fall within the.
it'll fall within within this council's, term, so, eh?
Barring any delays.
Barring any delays, well, they told us they were gonna finish, so they signed the paper. Obviously, no, we don't want to drag it out. We're behind. We should have done this in the last term, but I just don't think the time was right. With COVID and everything else, it just wasn't a good time to undertake such an important policy document. So
Perfect.
here we go.
Awesome.
Yeah, so with that, we can adjourn this meeting
We'll
and
adjourn,
entertain
yes.
ourselves for half an hour till the
Do
next
we
one.
need the mover and the
We do.
seconder?
We certainly do.
Chirac and Dan.
It is moved by Doc St. Louis and seconded by Daniel Gagne. Be it resolved that the meeting of the West Nipissing Planning Advisory Committee on April the 9th, 2024 be adjourned.
And to what date again? Did somebody have a
The
calendar?
14th of,
So it'll be May 14th?
That's correct.
Okay, everybody in favor? Carried.
I'm just gonna put the, I don't want to
14.
lose this. I'm just gonna put the room on mute and we'll just leave the meeting open. I'm just gonna turn off the camera and put it on mute. If that's okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Perfect.
Hello. Hello,
Hello.
this is B.B. Sharma representing a minor variance of 11 Front Street.
Hello?
This is B.B. Sharma.
Yes, okay. You're regarding the minor variance for the Comfort Inn property?
That's correct. Minor variance number
Oh.
03.
Okay, your application is close to the end of the agenda, so if you just put your phone on mute, if you can, and we'll be with you shortly, okay?
So you're going to contact me or should I redial?
I don't know that there's anything, your application's pretty straightforward. I can give you a call tomorrow,
Okay.
but I don't think that anybody's gonna have any questions. It's pretty straightforward what's being requested, so.
All right, then I will wait to hear from you.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir.
Your new planners arrived. In case you might be a little old.
You didn't hear that. So I guess we are just about, what time are we here?
1 minute.
At 1 minute, so.
Now fix your camera.
I know. Thanks, Don. It just keeps going out on me. Anybody need a copy of the agenda? Everybody got one? Everybody good?
Yeah.
Good, good.
Dan was so he thought we had added like 6 items to the planning agenda. Like, they're wrong piece of
Psych.
paper.
What's wrong? I've lost something wrong here.
Got a full house.
What was the bottom?
That was good.
Yeah.
Oh,
For
yes,
rocks
it
and
is. Yeah,
timbers.
yeah.
Oh, no.
He's only half as grumpy as he looks.
So again, we're gonna take off number 1, and we'll bring it back at the next meeting, so we'll adopt the agenda.
As amended.
No, no.
Yeah.
It was a church. I never remembered Goddard, so.
Yeah, yeah.
Pretty close.
Ready?
One. Just make sure everybody that's supposed to be here. Can you hear us, Don? Thanks.
That's awesome. It's good.
Everybody's good? Yeah, we might as well go ahead.
Welcome, everybody, to the Committee of Adjustment for April 9th, 2024. If you have any questions, either in English or French, as we move along, feel free to ask, but you have to raise your hand and submit your name and address so it can be put in the minutes of our meeting, okay? So we'll move on to the, do we have any declaration of pecuniary interest? None? Okay. The agenda to approve the adoption of the agenda. I need a mover, Campbell, and then
It is moved by Campbell Anderson and seconded by Roxanne Louis. Be it resolved that the agenda for the West Nipissing Committee of Adjustment meeting held on April the 9th, 2024 be adopted as amended. And for those who, for the public record, we had a request prior to the meeting from the representative for item 1 under 5.1 requesting that the matter be postponed to the next meeting. They had some questions that they wanted to clarify, so it'll come back at the May meeting.
okay. So everybody okay with the agenda? We'll carried. We'll move on to the adoption of the minutes. Need a mover. Jonathan and Campbell. I was gonna say, you need a pen?
It is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Campbell Anderson. Be it resolved that the minutes of the West Nipissing Committee of Adjustment meeting held on the 12th of March, 2024 be adopted as presented.
Hoping everybody had a chance to read it. If there's any changes, please bring it forward. If not, I'll bring it to a vote. Everybody agreed with it? Carried. Okay, so we'll move on to our application, 5.12, C-19-24, Roland Sicard. I need a mover and a seconder. Jonathan and Kathleen.
It is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Kathleen Rochon. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Roland and Aline Sicard for the creation of new lots on Highway 575 in the municipality of West Nipissing is approved on the following conditions. That a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the Land Registry Office. Confirmation that taxes are paid to date. That conditions be met on or before April 10th, 2026. That a transfer deed be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer. That in the event of any portion of the maintained road, traveled road, be located on the severed or retained lands, that 10 meters from center line be conveyed to the municipality. This property has frontage not just on Highway 575, but also on, just a quick second. Anyways, there is a road condition, which is the normal course. It's actually on
Muscatong Road.
Muscatong Road. Thank you, Rock. Appreciate it.
I was trying to get off mute, sorry.
And that an entrance permit
I beat you to it, done.
be made, and that the confirmation that an entrance permit is available be obtained from the Ministry of Transportation. That is the conditions. Through you, Mr. Chair, this is an application. The purpose of this application is to create new lots. There is an existing dwelling, and I think it's actually a triplex on the property, which is on the retained lands, or correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Goulet.
I think it was an old motel or something.
It looks sort of like a small motel.
It's not a motel. It's not a
No, but
motel. It looks like a motel, but it was never a motel.
Okay.
There are 5 dwellings there.
Okay, and it's on the retained lands?
Yeah.
On severed too?
Yeah, the 1 hectare.
On severed too.
Okay.
Okay. The severed 1 and severed 3 are vacant, and obviously the retained lands, all of the lots being proposed are within the amounts of lot area and frontage for the rural zone.
Okay, Mr. Goodrich, do you have anything to add? Nope. Do we have any questions from our panel? Sharak? Go ahead, Darak.
I just needed it to come back up. Just to confirm, so which portion is being retained? 2 or 3? Because from what I hear is that.
The middle part, the big part in the middle.
Okay, well, the sketch says different, right? The sketch says 3 is being retained.
No?
3-7.
Nope. Retained in this is the center part, and then severed 2 is the building itself.
That's what I mean. But the building itself, is that not the one that Mr. Goulet talked about? That's the one that's being retained?
It's being
No.
severed off.
Severed 2.
It's been severed off.
Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Sorry,
Kathleen?
I believe Madam Planner said it, but there is a requirement from MTO for an entrance permit.
Well,
for the separate one.
all properties on the provincial highway,
Mhm.
before we stamp the deed, we have to have confirmation that an entrance permit can be issued.
Okay, and so that would apply to both severed 1. Is there already an entrance permit onto the retained portion on the?
No,
Okay, so he would need to get entrance permits for the retained portion off 575 if he wanted an entrance off of that.
Yep.
And then also get an entrance permit for the severed 1. There would already be an entrance permit on the severed 2.
that's correct. And they would need a municipal entrance permit for severed 3,
Okay,
but we don't make that a condition.
okay, and the windy road there, that is Muscatong Road.
Yes.
And the retained land has frontage on the
That's
road.
frontage on.
Yeah.
So either they need to apply to you or the MTO,
Okay,
one way or the other.
Okay, thank you very much. So right now, there is only one entrance permit on that property, and that will be within the severed two portion.
That's correct.
Thank you.
Okay, do we have any more questions? No? I'll bring it to a vote. Anybody in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll move to item 3, C-2024, Armand and Diane Trepanier. I need a Jonathan and Campbell.
It is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Campbell Anderson. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Armand and Diane Trepanier for the creation of a right-of-way on Highway 539 in the municipality of West Nipissing is approved in the following conditions: the reference plan be prepared and deposited, confirmation that taxes are paid, that all conditions be met on or before April 10th, 2026, and that a transfer deed be submitted to the municipal secretary treasurer. Through you, Mr. Chair, this is a follow-up to an application that we saw earlier on this year, and I'm just going to pull it up on the presentation up so I can just visualize what's going on here. This property is on Highway 575 or pardon me, 539, and it is a severance that was give me a second while I share the screen, and it'll make more sense. Come on. Okay, everybody can see what's going on here? Okay. So this property, these lots were created, they're kind of an odd shape. They have lots and lots of frontage on the river, but the entrance is fairly narrow. One of the conditions that was, one of the comments of the MTO on this severance was that they needed a shared entrance. So what is being, MTO didn't want two driveways in that tight of a proximity. So the MTO has requested that they have a shared drive. So what is being proposed is the creation of a right-of-way over.
You're on mute.
I think she froze again.
Yeah.
Melanie, we can't hear if you're talking.
Okay,
I
do
sent
we
an
have
email to IT.
Okay.
You're back.
Thank you.
any more questions on this matter? If not, I'll bring it to a vote. Anybody in favor? Carried.
How's the camera control? Let's see. Oh, we're okay. Sorry.
Okay, so we'll move to item 4, C-2124, Hubert van der Hayden.
Yes. It is, you move her in a second, please.
Yes. Campbell and Jonathan.
It is moved by Campbell Anderson and seconded by Jonathan Sandiford. The consent application made by Yvonne and Yvonne Vanderhayden for the creation of a new lot on Piquette Road in the municipality of West Nipissing is approved on the following conditions: that a reference plan be prepared and deposited in the land registry office, the property taxes be paid, the conditions be met on or before April 10th, 2026, that a transfer deed be submitted, that any portion of the municipally maintained and traveled road be on the severed or retained, that 10 meters from center line be conveyed to the municipality, and that the municipal clerk shall, pursuant to section 65(1) of the Drainage Act, instruct the municipal engineer to apportion the assessment for drainage for the Venn drain. Through you, Mr. Chair, this property is located on Piquette Road. You'll see that the Piquette Road has a bit of it winds a little bit. So that's why the sketch looks a little wonky. The municipality owns the portion of the road. You know, we talk about acquiring the road. We did acquire the portion of the road that's north of that part 4 on the plan 36R15030. The road then winds down on the property to the north of this property and then comes back to touch the severed property on the west corner of the property. So they do have frontage on the traveled portion of Piquette Road. It doesn't just end the line over there like it looks like on the sketch.
So my question is, the separate portion that's on top is still a road regardless of, because that chunk like up here.
Yeah. So I'll just go there so everybody knows what we're
Yeah.
talking about here. So you're asking about,
I can go check.
no, I'm assuming that it's legit, like generally the people that come into the building at night don't sing like that.
Karaoke night?
I just thought maybe there'd be a bunch of nuns. Oh, goodness. Okay, where are we? We're over here. So you're talking about right here?
Yeah,
Okay, that is, well, Piquette Road comes up and she comes back down and then it winds down to the south. So this little part that Mr. Goulet has included on the sketch will be conveyed to the municipality,
Got it.
correct?
Okay.
Don?
Yes.
Yes.
okay.
Yes, so that will be the frontage for the new lot. They couldn't make the lot any other place on the property because they don't have the frontage that they require.
Okay. Any other questions? Campbell?
Just ensuring that road allowance doesn't cut into the 1 hectare?
No, and even if it did, we would extend the depth to make sure that we have the full 1 hectare in the lot being transferred.
This is the area of the property and you'll see how the road dips and heads south and it's right here in this corner.
Okay.
Who owns part 4 in this case?
I don't honestly know. I am assuming that part 4 is owned by the same owner as is it owned by the same owner as the retained? I don't know.
What part 4 are you talking about?
Up above, I would doubt it. It's probably, if anything, it's either owned by the guy on the other side of the road or is a separate standalone building lot. It probably has enough room to put a building on it if they wanted to, but that's outside of our property.
Or could it be like just bedrock that the road went around at one point?
Usually when the road curves, there's a real good reason.
That's right. That's right.
But even though it's big enough, it doesn't necessarily mean it can be.
Correct. Correct. Okay, thank you. Do we have any more questions from our panel? No? Okay, so I'll bring it to a vote. Anybody in favor? Carried. Okay, so we're going to number 5, C-2224, David Newenhouse. He's a Newenhouse.
And I need a mover and a
I
second.
need a mover in a second. Jonathan and Campbell.
It is moved by Jonathan Sanford and seconded by Campbell Anderson. Be it resolved that the consent application made by David Newenhouse for the creation of a new lot on East Road in the municipality of West Nipissing is approved in the following conditions. That a reference plan be prepared and deposited, that property taxes be paid, that all conditions be met on or before April 10th, 2026, that a transfer deed be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer, that any portion of the municipally maintained traveled road on either side of the severed or retained lands, 10 meters from center line be conveyed, and that the municipal clerk shall, pursuant to section 65(1), instruct the municipal engineer to apportion the assessment for maintenance on the back drain. On this file, and I got these, so I'm just going, I did receive correspondence on this file, Mr. Chair, and I'm just gonna read that aloud. We received 2 pieces of correspondence. The first being from Mr. Lyle Brubaker. Now, Mr. Brubaker actually was the owner on the sketch. I'll just pull it up here. So this property actually was the subject of a severance that we saw not too long ago. And the property you see on the right-hand side was the retained lands, and this portion here was the severed land. Mr. Brubaker sold the property to Mr. Newenhouse and has submitted the following correspondence. He says he is in disagreement with the proposed severance of the property on East Road by David Newenhouse. Mr. Newenhouse approached me several times wanting to buy this section of land from me, and I finally agreed to sell in the understanding he would just plant crops. If it is split in half like the way he's asking and sells, I'm sure it won't be farmed anymore and just grow up in weeds. This is one of the better farm fields in the area, so I hate to see it chopped up. Thank you, Lyle Brubaker. We received a second piece of correspondence on the same file from Catherine Armshaw. Dear Committee of Adjustment, I would at this time like to object to the proposed severance of the above property. I'm dismayed to see prime farmland being divided. As a landowner directly across from the proposed subject land, I've experienced what happens when farmland is neglected. My property had been left unattended for many years when we purchased it. I'm excited to say that it is now being farmed. It has taken Mr. Back the last 5 years to rework the fields and be able to produce a reasonable crop. I realize that is not to say this will happen if the land is severed. However, I'm saying that the loss of arable land at any time is not desirable. With ever increasing population, we need our farmland more than ever. So those were the 2 objections that were received to this file. As I said, I just got them today, so I just thought I would bring them to the meeting and read them aloud for the committee's consideration.
Do we have any questions from our panel?
No, just
Go ahead, Kathy.
for edification. So the property is zoned rural. There is no agricultural zoning on this, and this has no role within our agricultural advisory committee.
No.
Even though it is being farmed.
Although we have lots of rural
Yes.
land that is
That's
farmed.
fine. Yeah, thank you.
I don't see Arak. I don't think Arak has anything to.
He's might have, I'm sorry, I stopped the share, my bad.
There you go. Any questions, Arak?
No question, just a comment. I mean, I understand their concerns. However, it's, in my opinion, it's in his right to do what he wishes with his land. It's unfortunate if it won't be farmed. If he owns it right now and he's not farming it, then the weeds or whatever the concerns that the people have, regardless, will occur, right? So.
All right. Thank you. If we don't have any more questions, I'll bring it to a vote. Anybody in favor? Carried. Okay, we'll move on to item 6, C-23-24, Matthew Brewer. I need a mover. Jonathan and Arak.
It is moved by Jonathan Sandiford and seconded by Roxanne Louis. Be it resolved that the consent application made by Matthew Brower for the creation of a new lot at 61 Haven Road in the municipality of West Nipissing is approved on the following conditions. That all property taxes be paid, that a reference plan be prepared and deposited, that all conditions be met on or before April 10th, 2026, that a transfer deed be submitted to the Secretary Treasurer, and that any portion of the municipally maintained and traveled road located on the property that 10 meters from center line be conveyed to the municipality. For you, Mr. Chair, this is a funny property. First of all, this property is exactly, the road, Haven Road, is exactly sitting on the line between the municipality of West Nipissing and the municipality of Marks Day Warren. So half that road is in West Nipissing and half that road is in Marks Day Warren. Marks Day Warren maintains it. We have a couple of roads in the municipality that are on borders that we have shared agreements. We maintain Muskasong for St. Charles. They maintain Haven for us. Or Marks Day Warren maintains their Haven for us. So we do have a few of these little agreements. And I think that Mr. Remillard noted that in his comments. I'm just going to share the screen because I just want to show you something just so that. This property is, and for those that don't know this, I've got to go up here. Here it is. This is the dividing line between Marks Day Warren and West Nipissing. This is the sewage ponds for the municipality of Marks Day Warren. I don't know why they're here.
I've actually asked that question already. I'm like, are there sewage ponds really in West Nipissing?
They really are.
Absolutely, they are, which is.
They really are, and I did actually consult with our manager of water and wastewater concerning the proximity of this lot to those. And this lot, the residential portion is outside of the 500 foot attenuation zone that is required. And I'm not even sure that this actually meets the criteria of a waste stabilization pond, but it's as close as definition I could find. There is actually the Marks Day Warren, I'm assuming there's got to be a pipe across the road somewhere that takes, maybe they bring it by truck, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, this is my understanding. I do believe that the owner of this property, I believe the former owner may have passed away recently, and this is, I think they're just settling affairs. And taking the house out so that they can sell the farmland independently of it. But everything meets the requirements for size and lot area, and it's not prime ag, it is rural.
So can you, explain on the plan what they're planning on doing?
Okay, so if you just go to the plan before that.
Yes.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
Yes,
So they want to remove the red part.
the red part, yes.
Okay.
And the outline in green
Okay.
is what's being retained.
Okay.
Yeah, so there's a dwelling and a barn. Like
Yes.
on
Yeah,
the,
because you can see
there's a few
everything. Okay.
buildings on the property.
So, and it's more than the
Mhm.
minimum 2 hectares.
Yes, it is.
Okay.
And the green retained lands are not going to be landlocked because they actually front on Pine Poultry Road?
They front on Haven Road.
Well, no,
Well,
it's
both.
not the retained lands, because the Haven Road ends at that driveway where the
I know, but
property will be severed.
the property comes out of the middle. There's retained land
okay,
south
yes.
and north.
South, and then there's also frontage on Pine Poultry as well?
Yeah.
I'm not sure how, I guess so.
Let's say Pine Poultry goes right.
Yeah, I've never actually been down that end of Pine Poultry Road. Yeah, it does appear that way.
So they would have access at that point.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't even looking all the way up there.
Okay, yeah, I just wanted to make
Yeah,
sure.
no,
the
it looks
retained
like it
lands
does.
Wouldn't be left landlocked, that's all.
Does Pine Poultry Road go all the way into Marks Day Warren? Yeah,
Yeah.
to Warren.
To
Oh,
Warren.
darned. I did not know that.
Now, the problem with our sewage lagoons are in the city of North Bay. It's not unheard of.
Okay, do we have any questions from our panel? No?
Sorry, you did.
Froze again.
We lost you, Melanie.
oh man, is approved at the following conditions. That a reference plan be prepared and deposited, that a copy of the new survey be filed with the municipality, that confirmation the taxes are paid, that conditions be met before April 10th, 2026, that a transfer deed be submitted to the municipality, to the secretary treasurer, and that the municipal clerk shall instruct the municipal engineer to apportion the assessment for drainage for the Garton drain. Hey, Mr. Chair, this application is a resubmission, a new application. You will recall at the previous meeting, the application was refused. What was being proposed at that time was to sever the back of the property and retain a right-of-way. However, the proposed right-of-way was over the existing drive, and there was concerns that the proposed right-of-way and it's in the location that it could be problematic in the future. What is being proposed is the same lot configuration. However, it is being proposed that the right-of-way would run up the east boundary of the property, would be behind the barn, and not intrude on the driveway or the property. There's a larger version of it. So it would run up, the severed lands begin here. The severed lot is this square in the corner. So it would run up this boundary, and then all of this land at the back is being retained by Mr. Franken. As I'd indicated, our policy, our zoning bylaw indicates that when a property is removed in the ag zone, that the retained lands will be designated agriculture 2. They will not be buildable. I've discussed that with Mr. Franken. Farm buildings, but no dwellings can be built on this retained lands. And that is all I have.
What will be the zoning of the severed lands?
The bottom?
Yes.
It would retain its A1 zone.
A1?
Yeah.
And the top would be
A2.
rezoned to A2.
Well, it automatically happens, yeah, A2.
Convert.
Yeah, go ahead.
Question. At the time that the initial application was made, there was a bit of a hurdle in that the bottom part of that right of way was owned by the neighboring property owner, so they've been able to resolve that. On the original plan, I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry. Mr. Dorland couldn't attend this evening, so Mr. Franken have asked me to kind of fill in for him in his absence. So the area where the neighbor owns is actually to the west of the house on the sketch. So you can see the road kind of deviates up, comes across the bridge. For whatever reason, this little portion of Andre Lynn Road was transferred to the municipality, but there was a little strip of land between Andre Lynn Road and the severed land that was still owned by Monsieur Brouillette, I believe, on the far side.
Piece
No,
right here.
I'm looking at the piece on the east of the land, so. So where we have pin 49069, it ended just behind the barns and do you know,
Oh,
does my question make sense?
so you're asking about the strip on the east boundary?
I'm asking about the strip on the southeast boundary, which
It belongs to the
belonged
neighbor.
to the neighbor. So has Mr. Franken received permission to run the right of way over the neighboring property? Because right now the right of way
It
shows.
wouldn't be on the neighboring
No, it's not.
property.
No, the right of way will be entirely on.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
Okay, I'm
See
sorry.
what-
And then there's
Where
another
is-
residential.
Where is the barn on the right of way then?
The barn would be
Immediately
just
west.
to the west.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought the barn abutted the property line for whatever reason.
No, it's still.
Okay, I'm sorry. It was just the way that it was going.
Yeah, it's just.
And it's weird because there's that weird strip that
Yeah, there's
See that
this.
on the-
And so I thought, yes.
Mr. Franken owns part of that strip, but the
Yes.
piece, the southerly portion of the strip was conveyed to the other
Okay.
property a long time ago.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was confused, missed that. Okay. Now I'm sorry, I have one other question.
Yeah, go ahead.
The only other concern I would have, and I'm really happy to see this application back in a more sensible configuration, is that there were some comments, and I just don't want the committee to forget, from the Agricultural Advisory Committee, in regards to some other issues that they felt were applicable to this. And I just, I want to make sure that the committee is also considering those because we, the committee did meet and that's not included here because we saw it in the last application.
Campbell, you had a question?
It was pretty much the same as.
Same.
Yeah.
Yes, and I do have, I don't know if I have the first file with me, because we did open a new file because it was a whole new application. However, if I recall correctly, the Agriculture Advisory Committee, they had some concerns about, I believe there was concerns about manure storage. Mr. Franken had indicated that he plans to put the manure on the field, which would, I assume, address that. They didn't like the right of way in that location, and it has been addressed through the new application. And honestly, I'm having a moment right now.
Yeah,
I think the additional concern was the size of the retained lands as to whether or not it was big enough to be a standalone. But, I just want to make sure that the comments from that committee is considered because.
Well, and the severed lands are 7.5 hectares, which is
Roughly
20 acres. So, and what is being proposed, there's a barn on there.
What's the retained? It's 70.
35.
35 hectares.
So
40 hectares is 100 acres.
Okay.
So 35 would be 85, sort of.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. To put that in context, most of the farms in West Nipissing were patented as quarter lots, which are 80 acres. So it's in excess of what the standard farm size was in West Nipissing anyway.
With those concerns addressed, I'm happy with the application. I think it's a much better solution than what the first application was. I just wanted to make sure that we're considering all of the information.
I agree with your comment. Campbell?
I agree with that as well. Just the setbacks apply to right of ways as well.
No.
Okay.
The structures.
No, but he means the barn to the right of way.
No, it would still be in relation to the lot line.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, so if there's no other questions on this matter, I'll bring it to a vote. Anybody in favor? Carried. You're good to go.
Mel, can you take the thing off? You can't see me.
I'm sorry, Rock, my apologies. Sorry.
And don't you get the vote?
Okay. Did you miss us, Don?
Well, I'm just, yeah, we didn't see the vote for the one before.
I apologize.
Okay.
Just yell at me. I'm sorry. I'm not looking at my computer. I'm looking at my papers.
Okay, so we're moving on to section 5.2, the minor variance.
Yes.
The MV 2024/2, Neil and Brian Fox
Yes. I need a mover and a seconder.
to Jonathan and Campbell.
It is moved by Jonathan Sanford and seconded by Campbell Anderson that it is the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to approve the variance application made by Neil and Brian Fox to reduce the legal non-conforming front yard setback from 18 meters to 14 meters to permit the reconstruction of a seasonal cottage and to reduce the side yard setback from 3 meters to 1.94 meters for the following reasons. Meets the general intent and purpose of the official plan, meets the general intent and purpose of the zoning bylaw, and that the variance is considered desirable for the appropriate development of the property. 3, Mr. Chair, this is a reconstruction of an existing seasonal cottage. The new cottage is essentially going to sit on the same footprint, but it's a little bit bigger structure. So that bottom corner, there, the one-story cottage where it shows the cottage is basically a little bit closer on the southwest corner.
So where it's the 24.73 corner?
That's, yes, well, at the 16.58 meters
Okay.
corner, that's
Okay.
that is,
the minor variance they're asking for.
yes.
Okay.
So this is the existing, and I see that we've got the wrong sketch in here, my apologies. this is this is the footprint of the existing cottage.
Okay,
The new cottage, and that is, it's just slightly larger. And I will just provide you with a copy of it. Actually, no, I think it's right behind, actually. It must be on the other side. Nope, didn't put it in.
Nope.
I'm sorry. Come on, Neil, where is it? One second. A new drawing done by Jamie Landry, Box Cottage. Ah, there we go. Just, you can pass that along. This is the new proposed slab on grade cottage. And it's just a little, so
basically the
existing,
same.
same place,
footprint.
it's just that it's bigger, so instead of being 16.58, which was already 2 meters short, it's now gonna be 14, and change meters on that
So
corner.
they're going a little over.
Yeah, and
closer to the
unfortunately,
lake.
and unfortunately, and I can show you some pictures, you can pass this down of the, you'll see from this picture why he can't go any farther back.
No. I actually walked this property for Neil last year, and that's the reason why he didn't
So
go
he
back.
he doesn't have any wiggle room to move farther back on the lot.
That's right,
They're actually installing the septic system through that rock bed.
yeah.
They're like, the pipes are gonna be quite the, and because it's kind of a pie-shaped lot, it's, there's a lot of bedrock and not a lot of wiggle room to put this new cottage.
And there's about I think a 30-foot drop at the front to get to the lake.
So that, I just wanted to, so you were aware that what the reasoning was, because typically when there's a voluntary reconstruction, we'll try to get compliance, but there's just on this lot. So that's why the minor variance is being sought. So and also, we're gonna legalize the side yard. He's not getting any shorter. I'm just legalizing the existing side yard setback.
And I believe the existing cottage had a deck where the new cottage will go to.
Okay, I don't
So,
know. I think it's already been taken down.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was dilapidated when I walked it last year, so just so everybody knows. Okay, do we have any more questions from our panel? It's fairly straightforward and trying to do something better with an old cottage here.
Mhm.
I'll bring it to a vote. Anybody in favor? Carried.
Lost it. Oh, gosh, lost it. I wish I think I mixed it up. I think I put it into the file.
This is fine, huh?
Uh-huh. I'm looking for it. Oh, this is. Lord, Lord, duck. Maybe fine.
It's not those two?
I'm fine.
I'm fine.
You lost,
Yeah.
you lost or
It's
you-
fine.
Okay.
I'm fine.
We got it.
We got
Okay,
it.
so we're done, Fox.
Yes.
All right, so moving on to the last one, number 2, the MB 2024/03 for the 2238229 Ontario Inc., which is the Comfort Inn.
Mhm.
So I need a mover and a seconder. So Kathleen and I'll use Rock there, poor guy.
It is moved by Kathleen Rochon and seconded by Roxanne Louis. It is the decision of the Committee of Adjustment to approve the variance application made by 2238229 Ontario Inc. to reduce the parking space requirements from 124 spaces to 109 spaces for the following reasons. Meets the general intent and purpose of the official plan, meets the general intent of the zoning bylaw, and that the variance is considered desirable for the appropriate development of the property. You'll see attached to the application, you'll see that what is being proposed is they're going to be building a multi-use office building to the, I'm going to say to the right, but to the east of the existing motel property. To my understanding, there will be rental space on the ground floor and rental space on the second floor. We're not apprised of who or what the tenants are at this time. However, it does require additional parking on the site, and they are a little bit short. They've provided the proposed parking layout for what they are able to accommodate on the property, but are seeking to reduce the required parking from 124 to 109.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
Can you please just outline how the required parking spaces are calculated for a property like this?
They're calculated, and I didn't bring my zoning bylaw with me, so please forgive me. They're based on a couple of things. They're based on, in this case,
You're on mute again.
I think it's personal, Don.
They don't even give you a chance to vote.
I know.
I'm figuring they can hear us. I think we're done like dinner.
Yeah. Melanie, we can't hear you.
Oh, we're moving.
They'll finish without us. Watch.
Yeah, but they still should get your vote on that other one there before they.
Oh, there you go. There they are.
Hello.
sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I'm very upset about this machine. Anyways, the total parking spaces required for the office component of the office building, the meeting space requirements of the motel.
You need a zip.
It's actually in the bottom corner.
Yeah, I tried reading it this afternoon.
Yes. So they need 119 spaces of regular parking plus 5 spaces of accessible parking. So for a total of 124. However, they can only accommodate 109. Of course, there will be no reduction in the accessible spaces.
That was my next question.
No.
So it will still be a requirement of 5 accessible
Yeah,
spaces?
the accessible spaces won't change.
That's good, thank you. I think it's great to see a new commercial
Lost you again.
Yeah. She didn't answer if she could hear us though.
I don't think they can. I think our whole system freezes.
Looks that way. And I don't think yeah.
I'd say something offensive, but what if they do?
I can, it doesn't matter. They're used to it. There we go. We're coming back.
We're back again.
Me and Don are
Sorry.
having a great conversation.
I apologize.
That's what you get for going to Timmins, Councillor St. Louis.
I'm sorry, Madam Mayor, my apologies, but it's not, the issue is not in Timmins. It's in West Nipissing.
Shall we add it to the resolution if everyone's in agreement?
Yeah.
Just in case it is in there. I apologize. I overlooked that. So
Sorry, Mel.
Yes.
Before we add anything to the resolution, what are we adding to the resolution? We can't hear when you guys go.
I'm sorry. Mr. Anderson noted that there was also a calculation for 2 loading spaces and a request to reduce the loading spaces from 2 to 1. So I'm just going to propose to amend the resolution to add the reduction in the loading spaces from 2 to 1, just to make sure everything's copacetic.
Okay.
I didn't see that. That's my fault.
Go ahead, Kathleen.
If everyone's agreeable.
I'm sorry, just on the, now that I've got this on here and I can zoom in to read the like 2-point font, it seems that the parking calculation as well, your 124 is 119, the required 124 is 119 plus 5. And the proposed is 104 plus 5. Is that's correct? Yes, okay,
So
I'm
10
sorry, thank you, that,
109?
yeah, I've got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I'm just gonna actually blow that up myself so that I
Yeah,
can see
because
it.
the bottom you can see it goes from 119 to 104, and then the
But then you
five
add back in
stays
the
there.
accessible.
so you keep your 5 accessible.
Yeah, it's still there.
So so we'll add in the loading spaces to and reduce loading spaces from 1 to 2.
2.
From 2 to 1, sorry.
To 1 to 2.
That's why I'm not in the finance department. Okay.
So everybody is okay with that? We've made that change to the minor variance. So I'll bring it to, if there's any more questions, there's none. I'll bring it to a vote. Anybody in favor? Carried.
Adjourn.
We're all set. Yeah, we need a mover and a seconder. Campbell and Kathleen.
Moved by Campbell Anderson and seconded by Kathleen Rochon. Be it resolved that the meeting of the West Nipissing Committee of Adjustment on April the 9th, 2024 be adjourned. And
Anybody in favor? Carried.
And I'm really sorry, Rock and Don, I don't know what's going on with this room, but I'm sending an email to IT as soon as I finish this meeting, because it's not the Zoom meeting that's going out, it's just this participant.
The next
it just
meeting
keeps
will be
freezing.
held on May 14th.
That's
Yes.
fine.
It keeps freezing, Mel.
I know, I don't know what's going on. Thank you, Rock.
No worries, because Don and I can keep talking.
Well, and I can see, like, I'm still in the meeting too, like, and the Zoom meeting itself is fine. It's
Yeah.
this room that's got a problem.
Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thank
good
you.
month.
You too.
We'll see you
See
next
you guys
month.
next time.
Good night.
Have a good night,
Night,
everyone.
everyone. Thank you.